The best way to start selling your online course? Before you create it. Yep, I'm 100% serious. And in case you're tuning into my channel for the first time, hi there, I'm Marisa Murgatroyd. I've coached and supported tens of thousands of entrepreneurs from side hustlers to seven-figure empires on how to grow their online businesses. And I'm widely considered one of the top online course creation experts in the world. So I've been around for a while and I've seen it all. Now, this is the normal trajectory I see for course creators.
Woo! Yeah! You did it! Oh yeah!
1 hour later.
And the reason why I say you must sell your course before you create it. So many people spend a lot of time in total isolation, sometimes months or a year, creating their course only to launch it to crickets. Where did they go wrong? They recorded all of their course content without pre-validating their idea with the market ahead of time. And that can actually be dangerous because you run the risk of investing time and money into creating the wrong thing. Imagine this. You've spent 6 months pouring your blood, sweat, and tears into a course, and then nobody wants what you have to offer. It's absolutely heartbreaking. That's why I recommend that before you get too attached to a particular idea, you go out there and you validate that idea with real people. So how do you validate your idea and sell your course before you create it? Start with your circle of influence, with the people who know you well or people who kind of know you. I suggest you start here with the center 3 rings by validating your idea with your friends, associates, and even friends of friends. Because marketing is so much easier with people who already know, like, and trust you. But a lot of people start with the outer circle first, with cold traffic and total strangers and other people's audiences. Now, here's the problem. The farther out you go from the center of your circle of influence, the more you have to have your idea and your marketing completely dialed in before anyone's going to give you the time of day. So if you don't yet have an audience that's ready to buy, reach out to the center of your circle of influence first, so you can dial in your idea before you get too far in the course creation process. This is also a great way to get pre-sales, and money is kind of important. If you were a hairstylist, your inner circle would be your first clients. If you were a dog walker, your inner circle would trust you to walk their dog. So it makes sense that your inner circle would be your first clients and customers, and you want to reach out to your inner circle where they're naturally hanging out. Let's say you know someone who's super active on Facebook, but you haven't connected with them in a while. This happens way more than we'd like to admit. In our increasingly online and disconnected world, it's far too easy to lose touch. So start to rebuild that connection by reaching out to them where they're hanging out. In this case, Facebook. And then do something that most people who send messages don't do. See what's up with them and what's new. Take a genuine interest in them as a person and go into this conversation wanting to learn more about them. Your goal is to reconnect and start a back and forth conversation. I can't stress this enough. Don't go into this conversation with a transactional mentality of what can I get out of this or what's in it for me. Instead, go in with the mentality of how can I serve and what can I do to genuinely enrich this person's life or help them along their path today. You could start with something as simple as, what have you been up to? Or what's new in your world? Your goal here is to get into a non-salesy, personal, value-added conversation that could eventually lead to a message like this. Hi, John. I'm putting together this awesome course about your course topic, and I can't imagine anyone better than you to bounce some ideas off. Your insights are always spot on. How about a quick 15-minute call to catch up and get your take on it? So don't make the mistake of trying to jump into a sales conversation right off the bat. Focus on reconnecting first and just being a real person. In today's world, human connection is gold. Now, this doesn't have to be on Facebook. Remember, you want to meet people where they're at. This could mean a LinkedIn message or an Instagram DM, or maybe even sending a personal email or even shooting them a text or hopping on the phone. The where doesn't matter so much. It's all about your mindset and your message. Always go into these conversations with a how can I serve this person mentality. If you don't feel comfortable directly asking them to give feedback on your online course after you reconnect, you can try this slightly different approach. After you reconnect, offer them a free resource, something related to your online course, and see if they're interested. This can naturally lead into a longer conversation about what you're creating. Then you can talk about your online course and see if they want to learn more and provide feedback, or maybe even ask them to become a beta tester. So let's say you want to get into a LinkedIn conversation with an associate you've lost touch with. Start by exploring their profile and what they're sharing to learn more about what they've been up to, and then work on crafting your first message. I like to tell my students, every message, every single touch point is a moment for transformation. So, quick pro tip, make sure you spell their name correctly. All right, it's gonna work like this. Send a quick message asking them what's new and what they've been up to. Your goal is to reestablish that connection and start a conversation. If they've shared something on their profile, you might even say something like, I love what you wrote about topic, specifically your point about the point they made. Ask them what's going on with them. What are they struggling with? What do they hope to achieve? If you have a relevant free resource that you know will benefit them, go ahead and share it with them, but frame it this way. I just created this free resource on your topic. As a describe them and a friend, I'd love your honest feedback on it. For example, I just created this free resource on how to find a profitable niche for your business. As someone just getting started in business and a friend, I'd love your honest feedback on it. Then follow up with them by asking for their feedback. Did you find it valuable? I'd love to know your honest opinion. And then you can get into a longer conversation about your online course and see if there's any interest or if they know someone who's interested. When I was first getting started in my business, I wrote this private message to all of my contacts on Facebook and LinkedIn. I said something along the lines of, I met you somewhere, whether we're good friends or we met once and never connected again, and I've just experienced some big changes in my life, and I just wanted to give a message and share what I was at because it's better to connect than not to connect. And then I shared what I was working on now and what I was up to now and said, and if you're interested in taking a look, here's a free guide I put together. Now that one private message to my existing Facebook contacts and my existing LinkedIn contacts led to 300 new opt-ins to my mailing list and one high-ticket $20,000 client right out of the gate. This is what I mean by starting with the center of your circle of influence. Now, you can have a back and forth conversation like this, all in a private message or even on email, but I highly recommend you try to hop on a phone call or even a Zoom to get into a much deeper conversation. There's something about actually talking to someone personally that can build a much better and more impactful connection because people tend to hide their full real selves behind a computer screen. Now, if you've got a hot conversation going with someone that could benefit from your course, for the pre-sale magic to happen, it's time to sweeten the deal. Give your inner circle a special discount for being beta testers, or add special bonuses just for them. Create a sense of urgency. To encourage signups, let them know that these beta early adopter spots are available for a limited time only. And once you've got your beta testers in, you'll want to build social trust and credibility by gathering their feedback. Remember, your circle of influence is all about starting small and expanding outward from there. By leveraging the trust and connections you already have, you can validate your course idea and generate buzz before it even launches. Now, this approach not only boosts your confidence, but also lays a strong foundation for your course's success. I teach my students that the first iteration of your course should only include the simplest version of your core solution, which is what you need for someone to say yes. And then you get the pre-sales, which means feedback, testimonials, and the money you need to fuel your business growth. And honestly, this is not only a risk-free way to do it because you already have the money in the door before you build everything, but it also lights a fire under you to get it done. Because what I find is that without that constraint where you've got an actual deadline to deliver something to somebody, many people spend 6 to 12 months creating something, right? But when you know you gotta ship something the next week, you just get it done. And a lot of times, it's just as good as it would have been if you had agonized over it for a long time. Rather than trying to build a jet plane right out of the gate, I recommend taking an MVP approach and pre-selling what I call the paper plane version of your course. To make sure it's gonna fly, before you put in all the time and effort to build the jet plane version. This one-on-one MVP approach is where you get paid as you test your product, program, or course idea with individual clients or customers, not worrying that it isn't perfect yet. Take my student Veronica Powell. Veronica had been caught in the perfectionist cycle for 10 long and frustrating years, trying to get her course perfect before she found me and still hadn't launched. This MVP approach gave her the confidence to launch, and she quickly signed up 18 new clients at $19.97 each for a grand total of almost $36,000 after 10 years of trying. Now, I do recommend that the first time you deliver something, you don't pre-record at all. If you're comfortable, hop on Zoom and teach the simplest version of your core solution. And you could do this over a whole series of Zooms. You don't have to do it all at once. This is a great way to see what people resonate with and what they don't resonate with firsthand. Hopping on Zoom will give you instant feedback so you can adjust and adapt and realize things you thought were clear aren't actually clear, or things you thought were important people don't actually care about. Stepping back and listening has been a real game changer for me, because when you create an online course or program and you live and breathe it every day, you're sometimes too close. So you need to take a step back and listen to your community, to your students. Where are they struggling? What are they asking? It's so easy to overlook something when you're so close to it. With my signature program, the Experience Product Masterclass, I kept listening to what people were asking, and I kept iterating and iterating my course over and over again. The key here is that I did all this testing and iterating before I went and pre-recorded all of my trainings and made a huge investment into the fancy setup and bells and whistles and all the marketing. I dialed in my online course before I invested all my time, effort, and money into it. And this is the number one piece of advice I can give you, because you don't need all the fancy bells and whistles and sharp editing to make your impact. The amazing thing is that I still have a close relationship with that first group of students. That first group gets so much more of you. They get more access. There's this energy of being on the ground floor of something as it's being created, and that's super fun and super engaging. So a lot of times when something is less perfect and it's less polished and people feel like they're participating in the creation of it, it's actually a huge advantage. It's a benefit that no one else is going to have again in the future. So starting with something less polished may actually be an advantage for you. And this is just one of the 7 approaches for pre-selling your course that I teach my Experience Product Masterclass students. And it really helps my students get their course out there using the circle of influence we all have, whether we realize it or not. Because I believe that every single person, including you, knows enough people already to create a course and make an impact. It doesn't matter who you are, or how introverted you are, or how quirky you are, or where in the world you live. You've encountered enough people over the course of your life that you can get in touch with in some way, shape, or form, whether you've got them on your phone and you can text or call them, you're connected on social, or you've got a mutual friend who can reintroduce you. You know enough people right now to launch profitably at least a couple of times. And this is enough to take your business to about $100,000 a year or more. And then, once you've launched successfully, you have more money to invest in things like paid ads and a team to help you take your business to the next level. That's when the more advanced approaches to selling your course come in, so you can scale your business as well. Let me know if you want me to cover some of those approaches too in an upcoming video. I've got lots of strategies for helping you deliver and sell your course as quickly and easily as possible. So if you want to continue on your course creation journey with me, I've put together this playlist just for you. Inside, you'll find my tutorials on the 4 things you need to consider when structuring your course to increase engagement, get your students into action fast, and motivate them to finish. Plus how to make awesome videos for your online course, how to easily create and record voiceover slides, and a lot of good stuff. So check out this playlist, then go out there and live your message. Oh, and be sure to drop me a comment if you want to learn more about selling your course or anything else course creation related.